Hello there. It's time for another Gita video. And, okay, sorry about that. Some alert came up there, but I don't think that that's right. I'm going to see. It said that there was no audio here, but I think there's audio here. I think I just took too long to talk. So, today we're doing the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 36 to 39. And we saw in the last video, we saw how Krishna draws, after having drawn the attention out of all spiritual practice to the practice of devoting awareness, he brings attention to Arjuna to the importance of the Guru. And now he's talking about, through those methods, that method of awakening, what happens? What is the result of this? So, verses 36 to 39, he says, even if you are the greatest sinner of all sinners, with the boat of awareness, you will be able to go beyond all such sins and completely cross the ocean of suffering. Just as firewood in a blazing fire turns to ashes, Arjuna, in the fire of awareness, all material karma similarly turns to ashes. There is nothing that exists in this world that can be compared in holiness to awareness. He who gains experience in yoga over time will enjoy the bliss of the soul. A dedicated man will gain awareness. He will be very drawn to it and focus his senses on it. Having gained awareness in his senses, he very soon gains a deeper spiritual peace. So, why is awareness the thing that there's nothing else in the world that can be compared in holiness? Well, what is holy has to be true. If something is not true, it can't possibly be holy, right? It can't, because if it's a lie, if it's false, if it's not real, then it's not good for anything, right? If we're defining as holiness here something beneficent, right? No matter how pretty a lie is, it's not going to be something that will bring you to some kind of a better end. Awareness is the very practice of discovering truth, of uncovering pure truth. And if you can uncover that truth, then everything else can fall into place. So, without awareness, you don't have the foundation to do any other good in the world. If you're doing something and you think you're doing a wonderful thing, whatever that thing is, whatever that idea of a good deed is that you think you're doing, if it isn't based on some kind of reality, if you've gotten the wrong information, let's say, you're going to build a house for somebody who's homeless, and so you go off to Denver and you build a house, right? And it turns out that the homeless person isn't in Denver, he's in Pima, right? So you've built him the house in the wrong place, right? It's not of purpose, right? I'm sure there are other homeless people in Denver, but the point is, whatever action you try to do, if you are using your own projections, you're going to screw it up, okay? If you're in a state of awareness, then you know what are the right actions to take and how to perform them rightly. And there is another detail here. The boat of awareness lets you go beyond all sins and completely cross the ocean of suffering. In the teaching of Krishna, what is defined as sin? What was his understanding of sin? Was that sin is that which generates karma, that generates cause and effect beyond your understanding, and that traps you through that cause and effect into a cycle, a negative cycle of reincarnations. And when one is aware, then cause and effect is mitigated. If you are practicing something with awareness, if you are present, and aware means that you are actually shown up, you're actually present, and therefore you are manifesting all of what is real to the situation, then you can still make mistakes based on what is real, but you're not making the mistake of not doing something real, right? And you are therefore not generating more cause and effect that creates more delusion and more falsehood and more failures to connect to reality. All right. So this is how you overcome the cause and effect of karma. If you are dedicated, and by that it means if you have discipline, you will be bound to gain awareness. You'll be drawn to it and you will be able to focus your senses on it. And what you gain from this is a deeper spiritual peace. And this doesn't mean that it fixes all of your problems. It doesn't mean that your world is right now. And in fact, that's part of the delusion, the seeking out for that magic bullet that's going to fix everything for you, right? Oh, if I just learn Buddhism, or I just learn Tantra, or I just learn Qigong, or something like that, then suddenly all my problems are going to be fixed and I'm going to be this wonderful person. If I could just get enlightened, then everything is just going to fall into place for me and I won't have to do anything ever again, and I'll just be perfect and my life will be perfect, right? Any of those sorts of ideas are in themselves delusions. They're part of what you have to destroy, to overcome. The deeper spiritual peace is that whatever is happening in a good or in a bad situation, whether it's auspicious or inauspicious, you are able to connect to and manifest that superior individual, as the I Ching calls it. You're able to connect, to show up, and to know how to best manifest that essence of oneness in the situation that you're in. So it's not about overcoming all suffering. It's about being connected to truth in every situation. So, and everybody who's willing to engage, part of what this last verse says, that everybody who is willing to engage in the discipline of a spiritual practice can achieve awareness. And you can achieve sometimes some degree, sometimes another degree, right? You might be able to create a little light or a lot of light. You might already be in a little darkness and you might be in a great darkness, right? But awareness, when you manifest awareness, it banishes all darkness, right? It overcomes all of these states. And so you can achieve this regardless of how difficult your situation is. And in fact, the more difficult your situation is, the more opportunities you have to generate what in the I Ching is called virtue. Here, to engage in a practice of sacrifice. And that doesn't mean giving up your things, right? But that means of connecting to that higher awareness and offering that into the situation, bringing the closest thing to what you can call the divine into the situation where you are. And the worse the situation is, the more intense that awareness becomes and the more important it becomes. If things aren't that bad, then you have less motivation often to tap into awareness, to actually bother to show up. You're just cruising on neutral. But if things get dark and things get hard, then that is the greatest opportunity and the most important moment. You don't want to say, well, now I can't possibly do a spiritual practice because I'm totally depressed, or because my work is just too much, or because I've just broke up with my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever. This isn't the right moment. I'm going to school, whatever, I can't do my kids. But there's always going to be an excuse. But the more authentic the difficulty is, the more useful it would be for you to engage in a spiritual practice in that moment. So go ahead and engage in it. That's everything for today. If you like this video, be sure to check out the other ones in the Gita playlist. Check out this whole channel. And if you're looking for a spiritual teacher and to work in a context of a spiritual curriculum for self-transformation, then check out the videos of the Yifa Society. And if you're interested in what you see there, please get in touch with me. Thank you very much.